Good. I'd like to welcome everybody. Thank you for coming out today. Nice cool day today. My name is Tom Johnston. I'm the Director of Operations for TxDOT Financial District, 15 counties that we serve. And today is November 7th, 2019. Why did I mention that? The last day that there was not a fatality on Texas highways was November 7th in the year 2000. That was 19 years ago today, or approximately 7,000 days ago since there was a day without a fatality. These statistics are sobering. Today, there are approximately 10 fatalities per day in Texas. These are not just numbers. Each one has a person with a name, your family member's friend, coworker, who we all know. So we can't look at it just as numbers. In Texas, there are approximately 3,600 fatalities per year, and there have been approximately 67,000 deaths since in the last 19 years since November 7th, in the year 2000. So there's a strong, very strong desire that we don't have everyone today or in the years. So we've committed to come up with a transportation system that's free from fatal crashes. And to do this, the legislature has provided billions of dollars over the next 10 years to build and add safety features to the highway system. To do this, TxDOT's focusing on three things, the three E's. 1, engineering. 2, education. 3, enforcement. Engineering, there's an increased emphasis on safety improvements and project selection. Adding divided highways, adding cable barrier, which you'll see between here and Ballinger over the next few months. Adding pavement markers, many other different types of projects that have been selected to make the road safe. But that's not going to do it by itself. We've got to come in with education. We have to have driver safety awareness programs and improve driving habits. Engineering cannot solve all the issues. Last year, speeding related deaths, there were 747 in Texas. People not wearing seat belts, 984. It's just amazing to me people don't wear seat belts. Texting or distracted driving, there were 403 fatalities. Pedestrian deaths, 625. And driving under the influence, 1 of 4 deaths. One of these 4. So then we go to enforcement. That's a tough one. And the legislature is providing resources to increase the ability to enforce these laws. So we're going to hear from various people today talking about these subjects. We're going to have Justin Baker with the DPS who's going to talk. Sheriff David Jones from Tom Green County is going to talk. Sergeant Ken Salisbury from the SAPD is going to talk. Dr. Kelly Koenig is going to talk from he's medical director of Shannon Air Med. And Diane Wysoon is going to talk and tell her story. So this time I'd like to
Baker, I'm with the Texas Department of Public Safety, and I get the opportunity to go around and give a lot of safety programs talking about preventing crashes and what people can do to make that difference. One of the things I talk to them about is what we do on a daily basis, getting up, making those decisions that we're going to do things that are going to make our day better, our week better, our month better, our life better and all. And when we talk about those things and what we do to make life better, what about some things that we cannot do that can also help make our life better? And when it comes to that thought process of when we talk about driving, there's things that we can do and make a commitment about what we're not going to do that day. For instance, the speeding. When we talk about speeding accounting for approximately 1/3 of all fatality deaths in the last 2 decades, 747 deaths because of speeding. Can we make that commitment? Not today. I'm not going to speed today. And then we look at the driving while intoxicated, impaired drivers. Having that commitment, that plan in place that says not today, I'm not going to drive impaired today, not any day. Making that difference of having a plan in place, whether it's a designated driver dedicated to the being designated, or calling and having a phone number ready to go for somebody to pick you up. But we can have that commitment again, not today. We're not going to drive impaired today. And last but not least, it's the distractions. Every day we have those distractions out there, and we can have that commitment that when you hear the ring or the ding or you want to be plugged into what's going on, not today, not while we're driving. And if everybody had that plan in place to commit to that thought process of not today, did we solve a problem? Did we make a step in doing our part making a difference? So I always encourage the young drivers to have that commitment, have that plan of not today, because when we talk about nearly 67,000 deaths in the last 19 years, or 3,586 deaths last year alone in the state of Texas. They come as a package deal. 3 parts to every fatality when we talk about the death notification. And whether it's at the scene, it's at the hospital, or at the residence, we have to go up there and tell a loved one that I'm sorry that they're no longer here with us today. I'm sorry they're not going to be a part of your life anymore. I'm sorry that you have these young children sitting behind you. They're not going to have a parent anymore. They're not going to have a mother or father anymore. I'm sorry, but I'm going to need you to come with me to the hospital now and identify your loved one. What part of that would you want to be in? Would you want to be the one telling somebody that? Would you want to be the one being told that your loved one's no longer with you? Or would you want to be the one that causes that pain for somebody? So let's go out there and have a plan in place, commitment to not today. Let's go out there and work together to end the street. Thank you.
I'm Sheriff Tom Green County. Each and every one of us here today are here today because we're concerned about our highways and the deaths that occur on our highways. Here in Tom Green County, since 2010, we've had 109 deaths. I realize that, but we do have a problem here. This last year, the deaths in our county, this one county, over half of them were speed related. My guys are out each and every day. My part is the enforcement. So we're out every day trying to keep our roads as safe as possible. But we cannot do it alone. None of us here in combination can do it alone. It takes the efforts of each and every citizen to comply with the law, to not be distracted while you're driving, to certainly not speed DWI. We just ask the citizens of this county and
Police Department, since 2010, inside the city limits of San Angelo, we've had a number of 48 different fatality crashes with a total number of 52 deaths. 21 of those crashes were intoxication related. So we've had about 43% of the time when we've had a fatality within the city limits has been due to intoxication. That number probably is a little bit more. A few of those are hit and run accidents where we can't prove intoxication at the time of the offense, whenever it occurred. So we're looking at roughly half the time where we have an issue with an intoxicated driver causing the death of somebody on our roadways. The biggest thing that we ask from the San Angelo Police Department to help combat that is to have that plan in place whenever you're planning to go out and have a good time. Have that designated driver. And designated driver means somebody who hasn't been drinking at all, not somebody who's had 1 or 2 or 3. Buzz driving is drunk driving, and that's not a good plan if that's your designated driver. We also, in our day and age, we now have Uber, Lyft, taxi cabs, many ways for people to get home safely without having to get into these types of situations. Of the other crashes, many of them were failed to yield right-of-way offenses, which could have been prevented with not being in such a rush or taking an extra half a second to make sure of your surroundings, to make sure it's clear to make that left turn or to pull out of this intersection. Just take your time and not be in such a hurry. Nothing's so important that it's worth taking somebody's life in one of these crash scenarios where your day seems to be more important than everything else that's going on around you. This year so far in 2019, we've only had 1 fatality crash within the city limits of San Angelo. This is the lowest that it's been since 2010. We've at least, our minimum up to this point over the course of a couple of different years has been 4 fatality crashes. So this year we're tracking to have fewer fatality crashes than we've ever had since 2010, and hopefully in 2020 we can make that number 0. So the biggest thing again is just to make sure you have that plan in place, because the biggest thing we see here in town is going to be the intoxicated related fatalities.
He has to show up their door with their hats in their hands. It's not good for them, it's not good for us. With the news that your loved ones have been killed in a car crash. That's exactly what happened last December 26th. My brother, my sister-in-law, and my two nieces were traveling home after Christmas when they were killed in a head-on crash. 3 precious loved ones gone forever. My parents had to bury their youngest son, their beautiful sister-in-law, my beautiful sister-in-law, and their youngest grandchild. No parent should ever have to bury their child. Their surviving niece will not have her father to walk her down the aisle, a mother or a sister to share her special moments with. These deaths on the highways are so very tragic, but the recompression from all of this is tenfold. Not only do the loved ones die, these precious loved ones, the family members are all affected also. So multiply each of these deaths by 10 at least. Your lives are forever changed. Thank you.
Dr. Koenig, the reason I'm here today is to speak from the care standpoint, from when these crashes happen, and give you some statistics from the hospital side. My name is Dr. Kelly Koenig. I'm an emergency physician and the medical director for AirMed. That's here in San Angelo. So Shannon Medical Center is a level 3 trauma center, so we take trauma from surrounding communities as well as San Angelo. And I have some statistics that we pulled from 2018. We don't have the 2019 yet. But we had 673 total traumas in 2018. Of those, 470 were motor vehicle crashes. We had 191 of those went straight to the operating room with serious injuries, and 119 went to the ICU from the emergency department with serious injuries. We had 9 fatalities that were brought to us as fatalities that were not. What we do is we try to stabilize these patients. We see the aftermath of what happens whenever these crashes occur. We have to notify the families the unfortunate events whenever these people come in and do have a fatality. It's awful. I can tell you that you remember every single one. You remember the reaction of every single family member. It's not something that you ever want to be a part of. Just actually to describe the crash and the personal nature to their family, we are exposed to that as well. It's awful. So from what I see and what I'm on the road and what I see in the emergency department is that I see a lot of people that are texting and a lot of people that are not paying attention and tragedies happen. So our goal would be to just partner with this event and industry and just make you understand that it is devastating for these families and it is for a lifetime. So